Good evening, Trinidad and Tobago. It is indeed a pleasure for me to celebrate 59 years as an independent nation with you. Last year, we were unable to celebrate due to the pandemic that is raging worldwide. Today, I'll be in the company with some of my colleagues, such as Kizzy Rees, Karine Ashe, Alana Sinet Khan, Andrew Williams, Tigress, Denise Plummer, and composer Christophe Grant, as we recall memories from our 50th independence celebration. So sit back and relax as we celebrate Conversations in Calypso, the Independence Edition. Happy Independence, Trinidad and Tobago.
More hysteria, more shockwaves across the media. Come prophets of doom to trumpet their gloom. TNT now at the crossroads, one way we must choose. As in a game of crosswords, our wits we must use. Though crime spreading like a cancer, it's we who must find the answer. Though we at the edge, come on, sing the pledge, Trinbago. Although we at a crossroads, she drop, no. We can't let she flop, no. Stand tall like a wall. TNT could never fall.
So we now have joining us via Zoom Miss Joanne Rowley, better known in the Calypso world as Tigress. Good afternoon, Auntie.
Good afternoon, Michelle, and thank you so much for having me.
And how are you?
I have to say good. In spite of our abnormal normal, I am good, thank God.
Nice. So today we want to talk a little bit about your song, Crossroads. You know, what was your reason for the song? What was your process like with Mr. Grant? And how you all came up with the final product?
Crossroads, believe it or not, was a play that I was in. And it was based on the life of Trinbagonians in Tobago, primarily, and also in Trinidad. But looking at the script, I was like, we have so many ills, but yet we love our country and we are truly at a crossroad. And if I could remember, I think I gave Christophe the script and I told him, this is what I want in song. And I want this to be the name. Of course, I was blown away when I got, the lyrics of what he gave back to me. And to date, that is one of my favorite songs, if not my most favorite song, Crossroads, because it tells the story and it is relevant up to today, 2021 it did.
So this song was done for you in 2004?
Yes.
And how do you feel about how things were then to how they are now in terms of differences?
The names might have changed at the top, but we're kind of the same place. We kind of the same place. We might think we have advanced, but it's just the same. We're still
struggling.
I won't call it struggling. We're still playing government. We're still playing around. We still play. We might get it right one day. We might.
Okay, cool. Mm-hmm. So, as a nation on a whole, 59 years later, what would you say we have achieved? Do you think we have progressed?
The thing about it is that sometimes we think we might think we're bad off sometimes. But then at the end of it all, what I really do, and to summarize it, while we are at the crossroad, I always summarize it that we are truly blessed.
Yes.
We are truly blessed. And I thank God that we continue to remain truly blessed. When you look at, I saw the Prime Minister of St. Vincent the other day, and somebody threw a rock at him. Nobody they might think it, they might have it in the back of their mind, but nobody in there, and I could say it straight up, nobody in the right cotton picking mind will look to pick up a rock to throw it at Dr. Rowley. So I really thank, for more than one reason, don't. But I really thank God that we will fuss. We mad. We upset. We not happy about the state of emergency. We wouldn't take the vaccine. If we didn't have it, we would have quarreled that they didn't get it. But that's us, and that's what make us unique. And that's what makes us who we are. Because that's who we are. If the bar open, we're not going in the bar because we have alcohol at home, but the bar not open, so we're bad. But that's us.
We don't like restrictions. Once we know that we have a restriction and restricted to something, we don't like that.
And everything. The beach is going to be closed tomorrow. Tonight, everybody is at the beach for whatever reason. You would not have gone to the beach normally, but that's just who we are. And yes, how much years down the road, that's who we are, but it works for us and we are truly blessed. Hurricanes pass, earthquakes pass, or in all diverse places, all these things, all these tragedies happen with the elements. Trinidad is always spared. So if it is that we continue just praying for our country, maybe that's what's working for us and we need to continue doing that.
So, I always say that this album is an album that I play all the time. I really like all the songs on it. I think that, we're so accustomed to our standard patriotic songs like Portrait and Progress. But I think that this album really represents some of the best patriotic songs that would have been done after the 50th anniversary, really capturing Trinidad after 50 years. And we know that all these songs were composed by Christophe, which I believe that he captured the essence of each and every individual's personality in each song that he wrote for them. And I see here also that your song was arranged by Frankie McIntosh.
Yes, yeah, really good. And first of all, I must say, hats off to Christophe Grant. He is really a remarkable human being as a writer. He had, I would say had, not because he doesn't write for me anymore, because I could always bully him into writing a song. Hey, Miss Rowley, and then we're going to go down the road and it's going to happen. But I always applaud him for that, for capturing the essence of who the person is. It might take one or two tries. I don't like this and I don't like that, and go, but Christophe, that is not me. I wouldn't talk like that. All right. Whatever you say, use the boss. Well, you know the lines only too well. But I must applaud him for his work, though. I really, really must. He is one of Trinidad and Tobago's most prolific writers. He is. They might not like him sometimes. They might be against him because in a competition, if you have 10 artists and 6 of them is Christophe's song, but it's 6 different people that's bringing their different
personalities.
It is. So, and that CD is definitely a gem. And this song, I always say this is one of my best. Crossroads is so me. And I could, although the chorus said Trinbago, although we at a crossroad, I could sing it anywhere. Because if I'm singing it not at home, I am just singing an ode to my country. If I sing it somewhere else, I could tell you, you could relive this for your own country. So this one is a time. I have this one as one of my timeless classics, and I really must thank him for that.
Thank you very much, Tigress, for spending this time with us. We appreciate it very much.
Yes, and thank you so much. Thank you so much for having me. And may I take this opportunity to also thank you. To thank you, Michelle, the person, now Michelle, the host, Michelle, the musician, because you are always there, and I want to say thank you.
Thank you very much. I appreciate it.
You're welcome, and thank you so much for having me.
think I better check out Alison Hines. We right back to square one. I giddy, I dizzy. Oh Lord, I giddy, I dizzy, I giddy.
So we are here on Zoom again with Mr. Andre Williams. Andre, good afternoon.
Good afternoon, hello, good night, good morning, whatever, whenever you see.
How are you doing?
I'm doing well as usual. I mean, sometimes even when I'm not well, I'm well.
Right.
I always give thanks.
So we just here, we want to discuss your song Full Circle a little bit. The song that you would have done in 1999 with Mr. Christophe Grant. We just like to get a little insight on the process of how you came about the song, what were your ideas, the process you came to get this song into what it is now.
So by the time 1999 rolled around, everybody, the talk was about the millennium and so on. So both songs had that kind of historical twist. One with a worldview and the other one more parochial. And so Full Circle focused on the Trinidad and Tobago story, about where we were, where we came from, where we were at that time, and so on. And we were just spinning. As a matter of fact, we're still spinning. I think that was a long kind of response. But anyways.
In terms of this would have been 99. So what do you say?
Yes.
Of what you all would have come up with to create this song in 99? Do you think that we are still at the same point today where we are going to be celebrating 59 years as an independent nation this year? What are your views? Do you think that we would have gained stuff? Where do you think that we are?
Unfortunately, we have not gone anywhere. Not a step forward, because the fact is that we spoke about the oil boom of the 1970s. We then had a gas boom in the middle of the when of course the LNG came on board and that kind of thing. So we had some money, and just like the spin-off of the first boom, we were building buildings, trying a whole thing with this industries and so on. Point Lisas was born out of the first boom, and then of course the second boom we had like the candy colored buildings that line the skyline of Port of Spain now, and many other projects, that kind of way. And still, the people are the same place they probably were when they started to agitate maybe in the early 70s, because by the 1968, them fellas started to make noise in Black Power movement, and things weren't moving, and people weren't getting the kind of what's the word I want to use? They weren't feeling that they were part of, and that is one of our problems.
Okay. In terms of, I want to go back a little bit on the song, right? In terms of
Sure.
This album that the song is on, I always say that Christophe really is able to write to suit the personality of the person that is going to be performing the song, because it's a collective effort between the singer and the composer. You have to be able to mesh, you have to know the style of the person, that sort of thing. Do you think that Christophe was able to capture the essence of who you are and what you wanted to put across in this song?
Without a doubt, because like I said, he would have been listening to my utterances on air, like on a daily basis, yeah. I'm sure. So most of the songs that I would have done, written by Christophe, would have been songs that I was very comfortable performing.
Yes.
I mean, I've done material from other people after Christophe,
Right.
you know, and I was not as comfortable with those songs as I were with his songs, because
well, I always say
it was like I wrote it. If you understand, because when I say I wrote it, it was tailor-made for me.
Okay.
So in other words, he understands perfectly his performers, people who's working with.
Right.
And that's something that I always, compliment him for, be it Sandra, yourself, Kareem, whomever.
Okay, I always talk about this album because I believe that each song and the representation and it really captured the personality of each performer, which is, to me, that's something that's very difficult to do. Seeing too that on this album he has 4 songs. He wrote 4 or 5. Actually, about 6 of the songs he wrote in 2012, which would have been patriotic songs, and 4 of these songs would have reached the independence competition, the 50th independence competition. So to be able to capture all of this from different performers, getting them to capture something different, to give a different persona, a different personality, just to be able to create this, I think is a great job that he did.
I have no argument. I have a total agreement, 112.5%. Definitely.
So what I wanted to know, what words you have for Trinidad, what you would like to tell them that, to signify our independence, where we are now, celebrating 59 years, what you would like to see from us as a people, what you have to tell Trinidad and Tobago.
Hey, but it's late in the evening, yes, but it's time to wake up. Yeah, because we have this process where we vote, we go to sleep for 4.5 years, wake up in the last 6 months, and start to talk about issues. Yeah, it's late in the evening. Yeah, it's time to wake up, and because, like I said, we go to bed for 4.5. We vote. We go to bed for 4.5 years. Wake up in the last 6 months and start to talk issues, and it continues.
So, Andre, I'd just like to say thank you for sharing a little bit of Andre Williams and on your song Full Circle, and telling Trinidad, a little something of what you think we need to do as an independent nation going forward. Thank you very much for sharing with us.
10, that vintage.
9. This 2012, not so?
2012. 9.
Right, 9.
No,
this year will make it 9.
This year will make it 9.
This
right.
year will make it 9. So,
let me apologize for the voice. That was my voice was still in kind of prime. I was still young. I'm so young again.
I'm
not Chinese no more as me grown up.
Alright.
So the voice little, out of tune too. So, haven't been doing anything.
So my haven, my home. Give us a little insight on, how the song came about.
Well, this song was literally fun to me. As the first year, I came out in the big league because I started singing from 12 years old, but I had never sang in the monarch or in a tent.
Right.
And my brother asked me if I want to sing, and I said, well, yeah. He said, well, let me go by singing Sandra. So we went over to Sandra's house, and she said, Kiel, you know how long I want you to come back and sing? So, let me call Christophe.
Right.
So I said, yeah, that would be nice. She writes some nice songs, and I'm happy. And she called him, and when she called him, he said, Alana Sinite. I said, well, that's last week Corinne was telling me about this girl used to be in juniors with them, and if she gets somebody to do things for her, she could be good and whatever. And that's how it came about.
Alright. So this was in 2012 itself,
2012,
right?
Yes. This was my second song for the year, but I didn't get to sing it that year because I didn't reach the monarch.
Right, and this same year we know that it had the independence, the 50th independence celebration, and they had a competition. So you entered that competition with this song?
I did.
And how that went?
Well, I was not placed in the finals.
You was in the semi-finals?
No, I didn't get into semis either.
Okay.
I just went to prelims, and that was it.
But, well, this song, is one of the songs that I think that Christophe wrote that is top class.
Most people tell me that is.
So,
some people say when they hear it, they think of not leaving from the diploma.
Yeah, it's a twist to that, yes.
They said that.
Because I listened to it, it talk about all our attractions and stuff in Trinidad and Tobago. So, like I say, you didn't do this song in a while?
Yeah, no.
That's a good song to keep in your in your back pocket.
Most of the times if I have my choice, I might sing it. But most of the time, people just call for like the bacchanal. They want to see me in the army suit. So look, I'm supposed to sing next week. They ask for calling it real.
That's a while. That's the next song I hear in a while.
So rehearse it right now.
You have any other patriotic songs that you would have done since 2012 when you started back?
I don't think I have. I went down really a different road after that. More because I hold not politics but people close to my heart.
More social.
Yeah, so social and more political. Because what I see is most of the times I want to sing.
So based on the song that you would have been given in 2012, do you think that it's still relevant to today?
It will always be relevant.
Do you think that based on what you're singing, that you're still seeing that in the society now?
Yeah. Nothing changed. To me, it just got worse.
So after this amount of time, what you have to say to Trinidad and Tobago? What's your...
Well, honestly, Michelle, I people that say I wish the world could change and things could be better, but reading the Bible, you see prophecy revealing itself.
Yes.
So I stop wish for everything to be perfect and people stop kill, because it's not that I'm a bad person, but I believe, to me, like you're going at least that's what I think. I go against God's will. What I would say to the people of Trinidad and Tobago is that we could change and we could make it a little better, but things would still happen because we live in times of revelation and it is what it is.
Alright, so there we have Alana Sinat, My Haven, My Home. I hope you all enjoyed.
Jamaica, they follow fashion. Look, I
love this land and we live. Please stop it now or you'll cause a crack. It's the red, white and black. National progress you keep.
So that was Sandra Devines Millington singing Sandra. May her soul rest in peace. And we have with us here the composer of all the songs on this CD, Mr. Christophe Grant, who will be chatting with us a little bit about the production and how he came about doing these different songs for these 7 different artists on the album. Mr. Grant?
Good day, good day.
Good day.
And welcome world to this production. Yes, well, as we know, in 2012 it was a special anniversary.
The 50th.
The 50th or the golden or the jubilee anniversary of our independence. And I think the Ministry of Culture decided to have a special competition for that. Outside of that, for that year, I had already written 2 songs for the Monarch competition in February of that year. That would have been singing Sandra's on Reaching 50.
Yes.
And Karina Ashe's 50 Years
Yes.
and More. Right. In which I lamented, in both songs in a way, on Reaching 50, I would have lamented that if a man, I did the comparison, if a man reaches 50, he would already be in his own house, he would be in his mother's house, he would have the own keys to his apartment, meaning that he controls his destiny. And I was remarking inside that song that sadly enough, in terms of so many things, we show that we still were not in charge of our destiny in the sense of what independence is supposed to mean. And I drew the examples, for example, that we still have to go to the Privy Council in England.
Yes.
And we have rejected the CCJ for the Privy Council. Like to go to England to feel the cold breeze and to wear a wig and that sort of thing. And that in those ways it undermined our independence.
Right.
Having had such great judicial presences like Sir Hugh Woodin, Telford Georges, Michael Delagostine, who had contributed to what we call the jurisprudence of the world, and here it is, we were still knocking on the doors of London. So in that way we were still in our mommy's house and not in control. And then in Karina Ashe's song, 50 Years and More, I lamented the fact that after 50 years, we still seem to be caught in this tit-for-tat politics. Where, as I said, every time another government comes into power, the thing seesaws.
Yes.
And it's almost like we go right back to scratch. And it really is what we call the politics of spite.
Yes, yes.
So you always want to reverse what the other has done. So for example, if one has bought vehicles or something like that, the other one will come and leave those vehicles in a dump and not use it. We know the whole thing about the Taruba Stadium and so on, you know. And whose money is it being used? It's not the PNM's money or the UNC's money, it's the country's money, taxpayers' dollars. And in this sense, I find it so very backward for our independence, for our development. So now I said, you'll win the battle but not the war.
Yes.
In the sense that the battle is just that for the advance of party, but the real war should be for the advance of country.
Yes.
You see? So those were the songs I wrote outside of the competition. And then for the competition, well, we had your song, the national watchwords, but we know what those are. Discipline, production, and tolerance. I think your father suggested just before his demise, his passing. And I found it, that was very interesting. And we were able to work that into what was happening at that time in the country.
Yes.
And we were seeing that the watchwords still applied, and in so many ways we were not practicing it.
Yes, very much so, because I remember that that was a song that I was going to do for Carnival actually. So we were working on it in December.
Okay.
We started piecing together how we wanted to do that, and then because of I think that the type of person my father is, you want to write so much, you want to take your time, that we really wanted to take our time with that song, because we were also looking at the fact that it was going to be 50 years.
Sure.
So he was like, you know what, we'll sit down with that and caress it a little bit. And then we know between March and July he got really sick.
Right.
And that is when we would have come together and decided, let's call up Christophe and get him on board to put this whole thing together that we weren't able to complete in time. And I must say that you did an excellent job. You actually captured what we wanted in the song. you know, I always tell people that whatever I sing is something that I'm convicted about, and it's important that you write songs that you are convicted about. And I also say that when you get what somebody wants, you actually write to suit the individual, which is very important.
Sure.
And I believe that you captured me, the essence of what I wanted, and me as an individual in that song. And well, you would have known my process. You would have known that that song actually that year was one of my toughest years in terms of maneuvering, getting it recorded, all those different things, because we would have spoken about that. And that was a track that that Ibo was on, that Ibo produced for me.
Right.
The horns, I actually played my own horns on that alto, and I had Kenza James on trombone and Charles Williams on trumpet. I want to ask you though, what, in terms of your process after I would have given you the idea of what I wanted, what is your process in terms of building the song for the individual after?
Yeah, but as you say, you have to understand the nature and flavor of the artist. And I realized I wanted to give you some short, punchy lines.
Yes.
So you recall the chorus, we kept repeating the same discipline, and we said what discipline should be, you know, reaching to work on time, tolerance, respect for race and class, then production, you know, going, and whether it's carnival or whatever we produce it, and we just kept hitting those. So they were short staccato lines because I felt that was you had a punchy kind of, and the beat was upbeat, as you recall, and we captured that flavor, and you know, it was unique because no one really went there in the competition.
Went in that direction.
And national watchwords are always so very important. It was like a signpost, putting back up a signpost, recalling, you know, Trinidad. If we really want to progress, we have to go back to foundation, what Eric Williams gave us in 1962, and that is still the path. We're not following it. The gangs and Sean are showing the lack of discipline, the lack of tolerance for each other with borderline, all of those concepts we brought in.
I would have mentioned to others, and I actually told you, this album, Trini Till I Dead, I believe that these nation building songs that you have produced there are some of the best that we have seen, other than the ones that we know, Progress and Portrait and those things.
Sure.
These are some of the best songs. Even Sandra's Red, White and Black, if you want to give us a little taste of how you came up with that.
Sure. Well, as I said, I mean, I wrote for at least 5 or 6 people for that competition, so I had to give each a different flavor.
Yes.
We know what Sandra's flavor is. Sandra's flavor is passion.
Yes.
So, you know, and as I said, for different people, I'd already gone in different directions. So I was looking at what areas were still open and the symbolic colors of red, white, and black, because for each person I was trying to go down a different patriotic path. So there was still that flavor of red, white, and black. And you know, you can present that as well, because Calypso is a performance art as well, so you must give room for performance. So I felt that we could go down the path of red, white, and black, and again tie it into what was happening at the time. You know, so I went into that, and for example, and again, as I said, Sandra is a passionate person, so we said red, you know, reminds us of every day it's more blood that's spilling. White, it's time for us to have a truce for this nation that we're building. You know, black brother, if you're able and willing, let us go back and stay on track for the red, white, and black, you know, and let us show that, you know, even though we say, you know, we throw away the Union Jack, we don't seem to be showing that love in terms of the internecine warfare, the same gang warfare, and all of these things that seem to have been keeping back our progress.
It was amazing seeing four people. You know, you had Karina Shea, Kizzy Rees, singing Sandra, and myself, Michelle Henry, in that competition. But it was 4 totally different personalities and 4 totally different flavors of the way the songs went. How you felt about that in that setting? Because you were the finals, right?
Sure.
So how you felt in that space?
Well, traditionally, I always try to stay away from competitions like that seem to want everybody to sing on the same topic.
Right.
So I think like Jack have the emancipation. People come to me for that. I normally would say no. OWTO and the Labor Day, you know, because so many songs just seem to be going on one cliche beaten path. You see, but because it was 50 years, I felt significant things needed to be said. I said, look, I will take on the challenge, and as you said correctly, to give each person a different flavor, that no one sounds like the other, no one goes down the same road as the other. I think I successfully maneuvered that, and that is why 4 people got into the finals from my pen. You know, it led to difficulties, as you know, afterwards, because people would want to say, you know, how come one, he's the only writer in town, but that's how it was.
But if you could recall, if you could remember, in that space on that night, what was your reaction, your feeling, how you felt in that space, hearing the different?
Yeah, well, you must feel proud, you know, and I think the 4 artists did commendable and excellent work that night on, you know, in bringing out each song. Your song was a very powerful song. People still argue today whether or not, you know, you were slightly robbed on the night, but that is how competition that's how competition always is, you know. But you feel a sense of pride, and you see, when I write songs, the prize doesn't matter to me, you know. I really do not believe in competition per se in terms of where we want to go. It is all about telling a message, and that message hitting home, being received and hitting home to people, you know. But sadly, in our atmosphere, competition is what sharpens individuals and brings out their mettle. So that is the way they go, and the only way sometimes artists could get a payday. Well, I have, you know, no quarrel with that.
So 9 years later, how do you feel about, you know, where we are in terms of entertainment, country, national pride? Where you think we are 9 years later?
Well, it is still a journey. Back in about 2002, 2003, I remember I wrote a song for Singing Sandra, because on Independence Night, the country had the goal, or the powers that be had the goal, to allow a big reggae show. You know, and I said that, you know, next thing Bob Marley got the road march, you know what I mean? Is this national pride, you see? And in so many ways, it is still like that. We look at local content. TCT is trying its best now, and I think I see they sent out an advertisement, for example, begging for local content. That's a good direction. Even their morning shows and so on, I think they try to just highlight local content and local artists, and they do a lot of the local dramas they put on and so on. And that is good. They don't follow the others that just have the imported US shows and so on. And it is very important for the growth and the encouragement of the industry. You see, really the other things, I mean, I like the direction, let's say the spoken word. I think this is the Bocaslit is coming up. We have the slam poetry competition, as we know, and I see a lot of talent in there. Zakia Gill and these other very, very talented people. Our Rapso movement, our Pan movement, you know, I am very proud of it. Even the Trinidad music, there's a lot of talent in terms of the writing skills. When you listen to the lyrics flow of these youths and so on, some of it could be put in a more positive direction, but you know, I enjoy seeing young people stretch their creative muscles. All the young soca artists, Kes, Voice, Urfanals, you know, I'm very proud of the direction Trinidad is going in culturally.
Thanks very much for sharing a little bit of your insight with us, Christophe. Here with 10-time Calypso Queen, the first ever female young king and the calypso monarch of 2001, Miss Denise Plummer.
Wow, what a beautiful introduction. Make me feel as though I did something right.
Well, Denise, we know you have been in the entertainment field for years, for quite
40 years.
40 years, right? I know you started off in Calypso in 1988, around there.
Yes.
And one of your most prolific songs we know is Not Leaving. And
that song has come and it has stayed, and it's still as relevant today as it was in 2001.
so I want you to give me a little insight as to how you came about with creating the song and wanting to sing something that you think everybody in Trinidad would have been able to connect to.
Well, I've always had a love of country within me. I always love my country, Trinidad and Tobago. And my family will tell you, don't let Denise say about talking Trinidad at all, or Tobago. You know, I don't know what it is, but I grew up, my father was a guitarist and he belonged to folk groups in Trinidad and Tobago, the main one being Olive Oak, La Petite Musical, which was the biggest folk group they had when I was a child. And he used to take us to all the rehearsals at Queen's Hall and all the, well, now they call it Best Village today,
yes.
but in those days, the folk groups just had concerts. And it was embedded in me. Oh, mangoes, mangoes, mangoes. I know that song since I can speak.
Yes.
You know, so Trinidad and Tobago was always an important part of my life. And when I started singing Calypso, I just wanted to sing songs that made people know and understand how beautiful this land is and how precious our people are and our way of life and our culture and our food and our religions. You know, I always thought it's so amazing and we could teach the whole world how to live in harmony, you know, black, white, green, blue, Chinese. And so it was nothing strange that when I started writing or I started asking writers to write, that's the direction I wanted to go in.
Because I know you had songs like Black Trinity and Now Leaving. I know that Mr. Christophe Grant wrote that song for you.
Yes.
What was the process that you would have gone through with Mr. Grant in terms of us seeing this end product of the song?
Well, first of all, let me say I was doing my own writing.
Right.
And I was successful in the Queen department.
Yes.
But I wanted to go higher, I wanted to go bigger, I wanted to go and sing with the big guns,
yes,
you know.
Yes.
And I knew I didn't have the ability, the songwriting ability, to have such powerful material to go in that area.
Right.
So I said, look, you know what? I'm going to hire the best writer Trinidad have. I don't care what I have to pay, because I want to go big and I want to go higher. You see, sometimes you must know your limitations.
Yes.
And you can't always think that you are great and you know everything. So when I wanted the best and I asked the people who was the best writer, everybody said Christophe Grant.
Christophe Grant.
And I didn't know who he was. I knew he was somebody that wrote for Sandra.
Yes.
Singing Sandra. So I knew he was good because Sandra is powerful always. And I met up with Christophe and he was so sweet. He was a real sweetheart, you know. And he said, sure, I will write a song for you. I said, boy, I want to go bigger and higher. I want to win the monarch, boy, with them big guns like Aloes and Crow and them people and you know. He said, oh, and he's quiet and he's calm and he's humble and he's sweet. Don't worry. What you want me to write? Give me an idea what you want me to go with. Paint the picture for me of what you want to see. That's all this man asked me. And all I said to him is, I want, when you write the song, that people be proud of Trinidad and Tobago. I'm tired of people talking about negative things of Trinidad and Tobago. I want you to put everything that is positive and powerful and lovely and enjoyable, so then when people hear this song, they'll want to come to Trinidad.
Yes.
Those who have left Trinidad will get a tabanco and want to come back home. And that's all I told him. And this man went home like Leonardo da Vinci and painted this beautiful picture and brought this song back to me. Simply said, Not Leaving. Isn't that amazing?
And I remember the whole production in the savannah. I mean, that's something that is nostalgia itself. Just watching that stage and the presentation, I could imagine Trinidadians around the world maybe just wish that they were there in that moment.
The feedback for the March Gras was amazing. So I won the Queen show with Now Leaving.
Right.
And I won the Monarch with Now Leaving. So I won both that year. And people from all over the world, you know, called me and said, "Oh, you're making me feel to come back home. That song making me feel to come back." They were playing it everywhere. Every country that had West Indians, not Trinidadians only, or Trinbagonians only. Every country that had a West Indian community, that became their anthem.
Yes.
That year, you know, and I did not know what presentation I was getting, I must tell you.
Okay.
When I stood in the wings waiting to take up my position, and I saw these Moko Jumbies, and I saw all this set of costumes, and Brian McFarlane did my presentation. I said, "Brian, this is the song. Give me a presentation to suit. $25,000. My sister and my mother and them thought I was going mad, because in those days that's plenty money. I said, "Let me tell you all something. You have to put out to get." I say if another contestant, right, was 10 points ahead of me to win,
You 10 points ahead
my
now.
presentation alone will make up those 10 points. I say it's now or never. I'm giving it all. If nothing happened for me now, that's it. And I went ahead full blast. So when this presentation, I had to focus so hard to remember my words and focus on the North Stand and the Grandstand, because I am seeing all this pageantry around me. I was blown away. So I saw it the same time you saw it.
Okay.
He did everything behind the scenes, Brad McFarlane.
How you dealt on stage with all of that, but
all they told me is
that's
that we put in a circular platform on stage, use it wherever you think it will be most effective.
Wow.
Other than that, I jumped down, I face the North Stand, face the Grandstand, the middle part come in again, I jump back up on the circle in the center of the stage. And he told the presentation, once she's singing her verses, do not move, no action, no set of distraction. But when the chorus started, everybody dance, you know, so it was amazing. It was a winning combination between Christophe Grant, Brian McFarlane, and Kurt Allen, because remember you had to have a strong second song.
Yes.
And Heroes was a strong second song.
I remember that year. That was one of the greatest I have seen. And I must say to date, Now Leaving is still one of the #1 songs that we would play to represent and to celebrate Trinidad and Tobago.
That's
and
such a blessing,
you know, we
yeah.
have to thank you, we have to thank Brian, we have to thank Christophe for that. And we know, Denise, that you have gone over to gospel now. You're still an entertainer, but
Yes.
you are focusing on serving God.
Still soca, groovy soca,
Yes.
power soca, reggae, dance hall, ballads, everything, but a different message.
Right, and look at how you took the same Now Leaving,
Yes.
and you changed the words
Yes.
to suit in that arena.
Because that song, Now Leaving, affected so many people. And everybody said, now you're singing for Christ. Why you don't take Now Leaving and change the words, you know? Because
Yes.
it's still a beautiful song. The melody is still beautiful. The rhythm is still beautiful. And, you know, sing it for the Lord. So I got a guy helped me to Jerome
change
do it.
it.
And we went in his studio, and everybody said, yeah, let me go with that. So Christophe is still there in the gospel version.
Yes.
Yes.
We still hear a bit of who Christophe Grant is inside that mix.
Yes,
just with
of
a new
course.
message.
Just different
But
message.
it is affecting
Instead
the
of a
community
not
the
leaving, I
same
say
way.
I can't leave it. Referring to the Lord, you know.
You know, we just want to thank Denise for giving us a little insight into that song Now Leaving and how she would have pieced this all together with Mr. Christophe Grant and Brian McFarlane to give as a gift to Trinidad and Tobago.
The Trinidad and Tobago that I love. And now
Yes.
that we are in this COVID shut down, I've also done another one of Christophe's songs.
Yes.
He wrote it for the COVID-19, and it's called Still.
Yes.
And we have a video for it as well. So Christophe and I still have that relation.
And that's good. It also shows his diversity, that he could write
Yes.
calypso, gospel.
The guy that rewrote the words for Not Leaving is Ansel Malone.
Okay.
So he's a very good songwriter and a Christian artist as well. So, you know, to be relevant still at 68 years old, you know, God is so good and I've had a wonderful life and my culture has been so good to me. My country has been so good to me, and I just want to thank everybody that from the day one, even those who didn't want me there, helped me to get to where I am today, and God is great.
Thank you very much. You're somebody that I looked up to from small. Sing calypso.
So sing with me.
Look in the mirror, tell me what you see. A beautiful child of La Trinity. Never forget that.
It's me, I am under the rock.
And that brings us to the end of Conversations in Calypso, the Independence Edition. Thank you to all my colleagues, composer Christophe Grant, and you, the viewing audience, for spending this time with us. Bye!
Now 50 years later, though blessed by the Creator, somehow we keep going downhill. Like them watchwords we forget, but now with much regret, we realize